Howdy folks, today we are here with another low ELO game. This is between Dragon Knight, who was playing as the Burgundians, one of the newer civs, and in red, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, and they were the Mayans. So at the time of this recording, Dragon Knight was roughly 560 ELO, and red was just above 400. We're going to watch from Dragon Knight's perspective because they made a couple of interesting mistakes that I feel like could be improved upon. So we see already right now, that's a lot of houses. Generally, you want to build the two houses with two villagers, one with one villager, so you can get all three of your villagers on a goat as quickly as possible. Now you can see they actually realize they need wood for lumber camps, or a mill. Building the mill, not the greatest idea this early because, again, you need that wood for a lumber camp. And, oh, no, I guess they're going to build a mill. So now they're actually going to have to take straggler trees for a little while. You see two goats down. Also not super ideal. You don't want to clump your goats into the TC like this. But, you know, decent villager production for both of them. Actually, this is really good for 400 or 500 ELO. They've kept their TCs pumping. See some good scouting. Now you can see this is when you would want to go to some lumber. Maybe drop a camp here, maybe drop a camp here. The problem is there's no wood because you dropped the mill. So at some point they're going to realize and have to go to stragglers in order to get that kind of wood. And you have to chop through a whole straggler, which just takes a while. It's not super ideal. Going through these goats really fast. Still looks like there's only two dead though. Scouted their Acropolis. Moving out. And this is actually not too bad scouting. You've got all the important resources. Maybe I would check this out and kind of check this out just to make sure there's not some gold there. Found a relic. And you can see now, Dragon Knight is actually still producing villagers and is at 15 to red's 11. Red is not producing any villagers at all. This is not super ideal for red's position because they're going to start falling further and further behind. And especially, I don't exactly know what's going on with them right now, but they maybe need to be looking at this. You can see now, taking the straggler tree. And soon you're gonna, oh, no, just force dropped off and you lose a bill. So many things going on at this point, it's kind of hard to keep track of. Okay, second bill going out. Where are these going? They're all going to wood. Okay. All going to wood, they drop off. Okay, second board comes in okay. And, you know, you're way ahead of your opponent. Losing one bill to the board, it's not ideal, but it's not the worst thing ever. It's an okay lumber camp position. Again, I would have put it over here maybe because there's more trees you can get to, especially on Acropolis. You can see there's not a lot of trees. And so making it so your lumber camp is as close to as many trees as possible is useful. But going up, and not the worst feudal time with 21 bills. Your opponent is building militia, which is weird because I don't think the opponent knows where you are. They kind of do. They've seen this Acropolis. But 11 pop militia rush is, I wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, we're going up here. Scout is, well, okay, I guess now you've scouted the corner. You know there's nothing there. This scout should be active. You should be finding your opponent at this point. It's not like you really were doing anything else while feudal was coming in. Also a good time to start building villagers again and not, oh, interesting. So Burgundians, of course, they get their eco upgrades one age earlier, so this player is now researching handcart, which is normally a castle age upgrade, which actually means that they have, compared to their opponent, a really strong economy. They have handcart, they have wheelbarrow. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if they've gotten a couple of the other eco upgrades. Okay, well, they could get bowsaw and heavy plow if they wanted at this point as well. And you can see bowsaw coming in. They're going to have a very strong economy. Now, as you see, they scouted the other. Okay, enemy's not there. They're somewhere in here. Keep scouting. Keep making villagers. This is important because you have a lead on your opponent at this point, but you don't know that. And this is my favorite thing. So, all of these Acropolis maps have a tiny little thing of water here in the center. It's not very big. It's easily overtaken because you can't really defend anything in the center. The Dragon Knight has built a dock, meaning they either think there's more water here, which I kind of doubt, they seem familiar with this map, considering that villager knew right to go there. And I believe they're going to be building fishing ships as they put 8 villagers. Okay, that's not the worst. Sending your villagers to the farm like this, it's unfortunately not going to work. After this villager builds this farm, all other villagers are just going to stand there and do nothing. They're not going to move on to the other farms, which is kind of a problem. Might be good to move that lumber camp as well. And now we got fishing ships. Fishing ships and gill nets. And still no scouting. You have no idea where the enemy is at this point. You have no idea what they're preparing for. You have no idea how many builds they have. You should be walling your base and building some military, but instead they're going for fish traps. I can't say this is something I've seen often on Acropolis. Oh, okay, now you found your opponent. You know that they're going for archers, which I mean they're Mayans. And you see a couple places to hit. This would be great if you had a scout rush ready. But you have so much food here, so much wood. Look at this, 1,000 wood. And you're housed. You should not be housed with 1,000 wood. And where is this? Please, okay. Say, please don't tell me she's going to build houses out here. Oh, no, she is going to build houses out here. Okay. This might be a higher priority task. I would put maybe some more villagers on this. A little base here. More fish traps coming in. This is ridiculous. And your opponent should not let you get away with this in a higher level game. Because these are just, you can range this with archers, you can range this with anything can get this. Skirmishers, a couple skirmishers here would take this down. Take out the dock, the fishing ships have nowhere to go, so even if you have only infantry to deal with this, build your own dock if you want, build a tower. This is so easy to deal with, and there's a lot of wood being invested in this right now, but you know what? This is so much food. At this point, I would say, you've seen no aggression from your opponent, which is really unusual. It actually looks like they're walling up here. Go to castle. You've got the food, you've got the gold, you've got the wood to build the buildings, just go to castle. You know? Just make it a naked fast castle. You're not seeing anything from your opponent. Spend some of the, some wood, build walls here. And, yeah, go castle, go into knights. You've got a huge eco lead right now, which, especially at this ELO's, is pretty good. Found some stuff, but yeah, you need to be in castle age right now because your opponent they're going to be doing something. Either they're hard booming and they're going to castle age, or they're building military and they're about to hit you. Now you can see in this case, as this scout attacks this farm, you can see they're going military. They've got archers. Now, luckily for Dragon Knight here, Red has done neither of those things. They've gone for military, but they haven't raided, and they don't really have a lot of villagers, so they're not booming. But you don't know that. Red doesn't, or Blue doesn't know that. Blue has seen military now. Blue should be saying, well, shit, those archers are going to be here. They're going to be here in a couple minutes now, because now they know I don't have any army. The archers should actually be dealing with this, which tells you Red has not really scouted anything. We're seeing military buildings coming in, and finally Castle Age. Castle Age with 4,000 food. Oh, and here you go. We've got Militia, we've got Eagle Scouts, and we've got Archers with armor. Red might have wanted to get a couple more upgrades here. This is bad for Blue, because they are in a situation now where they're just losing villagers and they have absolutely no military. They are going to lose a decent amount of villagers. Now they have a decent amount to lose. But again, you don't know that in Blue's position. You don't know. Red might have the same number of villagers as you, and you kind of have to assume that if you want to be safe. Also, this is a ton of farms. Considering that you have fishing ships, which have been completely ignored, they bring in a lot of food. They bring it in pretty fast, too, and these fish traps hold huge amounts of food. You don't need this many farms. You don't need 5,000 food. In fact, these would be better on stone, because if they'd been on stone earlier, you would have the ability to make castles. Okay, Red has gotten bored, apparently. And we're going to gold, and probably another lumber camp here. I would TC this, honestly, just for protection. You know enemy units are out there. You know, that's a lot of archers coming forward. still no military units and the castle. This is bad. You just saw military there. Maybe you didn't see them, but you have no idea where Red's military are. They could be literally right here. You have no vision of that area. And, oh, hey, look, they are right there. This castle gets denied. And that's bad because that's a lot of stone. And it was 40% built, too, which means you're going to lose a lot of stone if you delete it. And now your opponent's in Castle Age. And the one thing I will say is Dragonite is getting basically every single technology that they possibly can, which is good. And, you know, you see what Blue tried to do there. They were like, hey, what if I send all my villagers to this castle? No. Even if you get the castle up, the damage to your economy is staggering. And I don't know what... Oh, no, don't put this here. Oh, and see the fact that they started building it, until they started building it, these enemy units couldn't even see it. So you wouldn't possibly lose the stone from them being destroyed. But now, if this gets destroyed, you lose all 650 stone. Still got militia in here, which is kind of amazing. This castle will go down. Don't send. You don't have enough villagers to force this up. You need some military presence. If you have military here and villagers, and your military are distracting their military, you could force this up. But these archers, which hopefully at some point are going to be crossbowmen red. I just love these militia still too. Red is in Castle Age with militia. Why would they upgrade? They have eagles, but then why did you build them in the first place? These, at this point, the best thing Blue can do is delete these, because they're going to go down and you're getting all that stone. If you delete them, you get to keep some of the stone. Alright, I don't know where they're going. This is also, you don't want to send them out here, because they could have another army coming in. Who knows? Okay, we've still got, oh, there's Cavalier. Cavalier is good. These are still essentially feudal age units. Crossbow's about to come in here. But even so, without upgrades, and Burgundians get Cavalier a little earlier, having 5 or 6 Cavalier will probably wipe all of this, because they're just that good. Now we've got Pandemonium. Oh, Blue did delete these, so they got all that stone back, so that's really good. Because now Red probably needs to walk away. They don't have the massive crossbows here they need to really be able to defend anything. You would want 20 or 30 crossbows, and that's not what they have. Okay, so we got tons of villagers on gold. Basically nothing but gold. The only food we're getting is from the fishing ships, which have been completely untouched. And this is not great for red, but this is good for blue. For some reason, these crossbows are in a box formation, which is kind of funny to me. I'm wondering if Red clicked that by accident. These Cavaliers, 5 Cavaliers is enough. You've got all the upgrades. They have very few upgrades. You can wreck all of this. And your gold is exposed. Honestly, if anything, I would say you knew the opponent was coming around here. That would have been a good place to drop a castle 3 minutes ago. Now, of course, you're sending them all to, I don't know where. I guess get this stone? But Red is in full command of this game right now. Their only problem is they are not building reinforcements, they are not building villagers, and they're not getting upgrades, and they still have militia. This is enough Cavalier. Getting, you know, Castle Age techs in. You already wrecked this. I would say, though, queuing up 14 Cavalier in one stable, you might want to build maybe one more. But yeah, these are great. They've got 14 attack, they've got armor, they've got 1 crossbow. Just, you go in, you kill all this. This is, what is this, 15 crossbows? Don't even worry about the militia, they're not going to do anything. You kill this with the Cavalier. Don't be afraid to engage with this. They're in your base. The militia get taken out. Red is not paying attention. Blue is still creating villagers during all this, and that is impressive. That is something you don't see from someone that's this low elo normally. They've got 62 villagers. That's great. That's amazing. Continue producing. I would even like to have seen a couple town centers drop, like maybe one here where these enemy units are going. Maybe one center here for this goal to take map control, because they defend your villagers. If you've got this town center here protecting them, if these crossbows loop around here, which it looks like they're kind of... Oh, Blue, you can take this. You can take this. Absolutely, you can take this. There's still no upgrades on these crossbows. Yeah, look at this, and they just melt. So you've got one cavalier down to half health, and one down to 3/4. Easy. Unfortunately, now Red has been building more military. But those crossbows could come around here, and there's no town center to protect them. Also, housed. Getting more houses, tons of idols. Getting some crossbows, getting some cavalry. This is good. Building up more military. And these fishing ships. This is... they're just still here. Why? Red knows they're here. Pretty sure Red knows they're here. Yeah. Red has seen this. Red has a castle. That's nice. That was good thinking for them. They managed to drop a castle, and has walled this entire segment. Honestly, I kind of love this. They're just saying, hey, no, you know, nothing's getting in this way. We're gonna wall this. Cavaliers should do decently well against this, but you're gonna need to bring them all in. I don't think Blue's gonna touch this right now, but I think these Cavaliers are gonna go down if they're not all fighting. Another town center. This is a little bold. If the enemy's got any scouting, taken any map control, they will be able to see this and attack this. But getting the other town center is good. Getting more villagers. Getting the castle finally is good. Maybe some more military buildings. At this point, Blue has clearly turned the tide. This castle's a problem, but you don't know what's going on here. What's going on here? Is this walled? Are there other castles here? Are there units here? What's going on? You should probably build a scout. You know, when your single stable is not busy building a ton of cavalier. And check it out and see what's going on there. Still building vills, which is really good. Build vills in the other town center would also be nice. Doing good there, and you can see 39. Red is slowly catching up. They're slowly catching up, but they really... If you're idling your eco that much and not building villagers that hard, you need to be doing something with this military because you know your opponent is. And it was a good raid. Red did a really good raid in here, and I'm surprised they haven't come back. The Cavalier are problematic, but I'm pretty sure that Mayans get pikes. They were Mayans, right? They were Mayans, and I'm pretty sure Mayans get pikes. Yes, they get halberdiers, so you should be swapping into that, or just getting a huge death ball of archers. But if you get the huge death ball of archers, you need something to deal with this, because you know that your opponent is going to get a huge death ball of these, and you're just letting them boom for free. Scouting with a cavalier, not ideal. The scout would have a huge radius of sight here, but you can see that is kind of what Blue is trying to do here. And really just, yeah, this is a clear reason to just take out enemy fishing ships if you see them. This is kind of ridiculous, and you can see just how much food Blue has managed to get from it. Probably most of it from these fish traps. You know, they also have a ton of farmers, but there's so much food coming from this. And Red knows it's there, and Red has an army just sitting here, not doing anything. Your army could just be here. Are you worried Blue is going to send their cavalry? Just run back to your castle. You'll get some cavalry. But this should not be allowed to continue to happen. And you could see in the hands of maybe a more experienced player, this food would have turned into something amazing. Half of these farmers could be doing something else useful in the eco. They could be getting gold. Third TC, I like this spot. This is good. Now going to this gold, I hope they remember to build a mining camp there. This is a good spot for TC. It's got the gold, it's got the stone, it protects them. You've got this one here now making villagers. It might be good to make villagers out of both of them, but hey, your economy's way ahead. I'm not going to throw too much shade on that. We just got... Oh, I realized I should speed this up because nothing's really happening. So we just see the two sides building their forces, biding their time. Now this only works, you can only build your forces and bide your time if you know your opponent is not doing the same. And right now, with score, Blue can actually be kind of assured that Red is not in a good spot. But for Red, you need to be making more town centers. You need to be making maybe a little less military and more town centers because your eco is suffering now. It is hurting. You know your opponent's ahead of you. They're ahead of you for something, as we see. How many town centers? 4 town centers now. That's kind of insane. That's a lot of town centers. And here's another one going up. Blue taking map control. You know, and this is the other thing. If Red was out here raiding these, this is a lot of town centers. If Red is out here raiding these don't go up as easily. And the 6th one going up on all the good resources. This is very good for Red. And going to Imp. Red needs to be doing something about this. They're not really doing anything. They've got villagers that they're not producing. They've got a decent amount of military, but of course so does Blue, because Blue has the economy. At this point, it doesn't matter that you've spent most of the game building more military if you haven't done anything with it. You have to do something with it early, like Red did, but you have to continue to raid. I like this. This is good, because you need to be able to pump out a lot of paladins from this. We're gonna need to get paladin. We're gonna need to get paladin. You need to be able to pump a lot of paladins out of this to replenish your army for late fights in Imp. I just can't get over these fish traps. But look at how much food they have on them. Watching this gets built. They're an Imp. 700 food. The value on these is extraordinary. You should never let your opponent do this. We've got now 7 town centers and 110 villagers. This is great. This is great for Blue. Blue is in great shape. Getting all the upgrades, all the technologies. For some reason, getting swords technologies. And yeah, what is Red doing? Red has got this castle. They've got an army. They've got some stuff here, but look at this base is so open. Blue doesn't even know this. And on Red's side, there's this huge army about to hit you, and I do believe... Okay, so we've got a little bit of a raid coming in here. We've got Paladin coming in, that's great. We've got stuff coming in, we got tons of Paladins we built. That's great. Paladins are excellent in this situation. They really are. And 15 crossbowmen, which means you maybe want to build another range as well. And almost pop capped. And Flemish Militia. Blue now has 190 military units. 0 villagers, which means that... But the thing is, they also have 600 food. It means they can come back from this. And based on the fact that these units are just sitting around, I'm not sure Blue actually did what that technology did. Okay, now they're starting to get them moving. These are crazy powerful. They're crazy powerful against Cav. You can see from the spears here, they do... Look at this, 16 damage? That's a lot. It does not matter that Red has 80 military, because now Blue has 184. That is crazy. They are going to wipe this. Now, imagine if Red had been seeing this, sniping these vills, raiding these town centers, making sure that this wasn't an issue. There would not be almost 200 population military bearing down at them, and they will not be able to survive this. They may kill all of this, yes. And doesn't even have ballistics on the crossbows. Also, Blue should probably be moving in at this point. You're just gathering all your forces, which is wasting you a lot of time. I mean, not that Red's doing anything with it. Let's speed this up a little bit. This army melts. Just Paladin will melt this. This army melts. Here come the Flemish Militia, melting everything. This castle won't stand for very long. Doesn't matter. And the game. So that you can kind of get the sense that maybe Blue has actually built this a couple of times. The fact that they made 8 town centers and knew to build their military quite a lot tells me that, like, oh, this is a nice wall here, actually. Tells me that this is something that they possibly have done before. So, a lot of early mistakes. This was not walled when enemy troops came in. Blue had no enemy troops of their own to repel. And early aggression is very popular in this game. You have to be able to deal with it. For a longest time, there were single buildings dealing with military, and only in Imperial Age did Blue get more stables. Don't do this. If you think you can get away with it, like if you have an army here, you've castle dropped here, and you know you're going to hold this for a while, then maybe consider it, because you can see how much food it got blue. But don't just send a villager to blind build a dock and build fishing ships, because they will get destroyed by any player that has a little bit more map awareness. On red side, meanwhile, I don't think they ever found this gold. You have 45 villagers at the end of an hour-long game. That is, you need way more villagers than that. You need to be producing your villagers, you need to be using your military. The fact that there are more than 60 Flemish Militia here means that you are not raiding well. And blue just was able to snowball this. So, anyway, exciting to see the Flemish Militia having an impact in low ELO games. Someone, I forget exactly who, said that the Flemish Militia, basically, if you're behind, you're probably not going to win the game with it. If you're ahead, it's definitely going to make you win. And we could see that in this case, where blue slowly snowballed that wave. Anyway, hope this was interesting and informative, as always, and I'll see you all next time.